In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where the trees stand tall and ancient, lies a secluded campground known only to a select few. Nestled deep within the wilderness, it is a place untouched by the modern world, where the sounds of civilization are replaced by the whispering of the wind and the rustling of leaves. Sarah and Mark, a young couple seeking adventure, stumbled upon this hidden gem while searching for the perfect camping spot. Intrigued by its remote location and untouched beauty, they decided to make it their home for the weekend. As they pitched their tent beneath the canopy of trees, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She brushed it off as nerves, attributing it to the unfamiliarity of their surroundings. But deep down, a sense of unease lingered in the back of her mind. That night, as they sat by the campfire, the forest seemed to come alive with strange noises. Branches creaked and snapped in the darkness, and strange cries echoed through the trees. Mark tried to reassure Sarah, dismissing the sounds as nothing more than the calls of nocturnal animals. But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She felt as though unseen eyes were watching them from the shadows, their gaze filled with malevolence. She shivered, wrapping her arms around herself as a chill ran down her spine. As the night wore on, the forest grew silent, the only sound the crackling of the dying fire. Sarah and Mark retired to their tent, seeking refuge from the oppressive darkness outside, but sleep eluded them, as strange dreams plagued their minds. In Sarah's dreams, she found herself wandering through the forest, the trees looming over her like silent sentinels. She could feel a presence lurking in the shadows, its presence filling her with dread. She tried to run, but her feet felt like lead, rooted to the forest floor. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing in the woods, bathed in an ethereal light. In the center of the clearing stood a figure cloaked in shadow, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Sarah tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips as the figure reached out to her with long, skeletal fingers. She awoke with a start, drenched in sweat and trembling with fear. Beside her, Mark tossed and turned in his sleep, muttering incomprehensible words beneath his breath. She shook him awake, her heart pounding in her chest as she recounted her nightmare. Mark tried to reassure her, attributing the dream to the stress of their surroundings. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something deeply wrong with the forest, something ancient and malevolent lurking just beyond the edge of perception. As the sun rose, they ventured out into the woods, hoping to shake off the lingering unease that had settled over them like a shroud. But the forest seemed different in the daylight, its beauty marred by an underlying sense of dread. They hiked for hours, following winding trails that seemed to lead endlessly into the heart of the wilderness. But no matter how far they walked, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes tracking their every move. As they ventured deeper into the woods, they stumbled upon a strange clearing unlike any they had seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a circle of ancient stones, weathered and worn by centuries of wind and rain. Strange symbols adorned their surface, their meaning lost to the passage of time. Sarah felt drawn to the stones, as though they were calling out to her with a voice she couldn't hear. She reached out to touch them, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings with a sense of reverence and awe. But as her hand made contact with the stone, a sudden chill ran down her spine, and she felt a surge of energy course through her body. The world seemed to spin around her, and she felt herself falling into darkness. When she awoke, she found herself lying on the forest floor, her head spinning with dizziness. Beside her, Mark lay unconscious, his face pale and drawn. She shook him awake, panic rising in her chest as she realized they were lost in the heart of the wilderness. As they stumbled through the woods, searching for a way out, they could feel a presence lurking just beyond the edge of perception. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and strange whispers filled the air, their words incomprehensible yet filled with malice. Hours turned into days as they wandered through the wilderness, their supplies dwindling with each passing hour. They tried to ration what little food and water they had left, but hunger gnawed at their stomachs and thirst parched their throats. But no matter how far they walked, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being herded, guided towards some unknown fate by forces beyond their control. And as they stumbled upon a clearing in the woods, they realized with a sinking feeling that they had reached the heart of the darkness that lurked within the forest. In the center of the clearing stood a towering figure, its form shrouded in darkness. Its eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light, and its voice echoed through the woods like thunder on the wind. "We have been waiting for you," the figure said, its voice filling Sarah and Mark with a sense of dread. "You have trespassed upon our domain, and now you must pay the price." With a wave of its hand, tendrils of darkness enveloped them, dragging them into the depths of the earth below. They screamed as they fell, their voices drowned out by the roar of the earth swallowing them whole. And as the forest closed in around them, swallowing them whole, they realized with a sense of horror that they would never escape the darkness that lurked within the woods. For in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where the trees stand tall and ancient, there are forces beyond human comprehension, forces that hunger for the souls of the unwary. And once you enter their domain, there is no escape, only endless echoes in the woods.